And we are live.
Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Ogrodowski of WeAreChange.org, of course, joined by Jason Burmis, and, of course, special guest today, Dan Dix of PressForTruth.ca. Remember that website for a very specific reason, because today, overall, the best way I could describe it is, holy crap, it is just insane what we just saw with Facebook purging the large majority of the alternative media from its entire platform. Now, Facebook released a very strange PR letter around this, which of course we're going to get into, but we're seeing USA Today saying that the Facebook removed spam accounts. We're seeing the Washington Post saying that they got rid of pages because of political messages for, quote, profit. A lot of crazy Orwellian double talk here, but we're going to get to the bottom bone deal of what's happening here. And that, of course, is with Dan Dix, who had his page with over 350,000 followers just utterly deleted today. Dan, what happened?
Oh, man, Luke, I was in the middle of working on a video today when I got the word. I was working on the one called Leaked Document, Google, the Good Censor reveals a plan to silence political opponents, and that's exactly what happened to me. Now, I got to give you guys a heads up. I'm hearing everything in repeat. There's an echo. I think one of you guys need to mute your laptop or something because everything is repeating itself. So,
and how about now?
Yeah, I'm still hearing like a feedback loop.
I don't have a feedback loop in mind. What are we seeing in the audience? How about you, Luke?
Everything's good for me. I'm going to put on headphones right now just to make sure we're okay.
Okay.
That's good. I think we're good now.
Are we good now? All right, so continue, please, Dan.
Yeah, so Dan, just tell us what happened today to you. Yeah, so I got the word that, I just got the word that my Facebook page has been terminated. The page was just completely taken down. I'm still getting the echo, but I'll try to just go on without it. I got the word that I was just completely taken down, removed from Facebook. 350,000 followers, just gone in the blink of an eye. And this is all part of the censorship we've been seeing. There's a massive purge happening. We've seen it with other kind of conservative voices online, namely Alex Jones and people of that nature. And he maybe was the domino, and they're starting to really go after some of the smaller guys like me.
Yeah, today definitely wasn't just about conservatives. Today was about a lot of people who just question authority. If you look at the pages that were taken down, it is absolutely ridiculous. Pages about hemp, pages about holding the police accountable, left-leaning pages, anti-war pages, your page. You're a journalist that does really great work. I've been working on the ground with you, especially at Bilderberg, when we've been covering that big confound, that big event that has been happening every single year that the mainstream media does a report on. And basically, the overall trend is anything that the mainstream media won't touch and people are talking about online, now just completely, utterly gone. Did they give you any justification, any reason, any notice? What was the official word that you had from Facebook with your just page being completely deleted with all of the work that you did on there?
Well, they didn't really say anything. They didn't give me any specifics into what it was that I specifically posted or what I specifically did. All they said was this: your page has been unpublished for misleading behavior, such as being administered by a fake account, misleading users, or violating the Facebook spam policies. Terms and Facebook community standards which help keep our community safe and respectful. So they're essentially claiming that I have been spamming people with my information and with my content that I produce. And all I post there, Luke, is video content that I publish at Press for Truth. And the links are either coming from my website or from another website like steemit.com. So that's what I'm doing there.
Yeah, Jason, I have to say the official statement that Facebook released about this is extremely confusing, if not Orwellian, to say the least. Do you want to go over just the official statement that Facebook released about this, Jason?
I've got it highlighted right here, just this small subsection in the beginning. And it's absolutely outrageous. Let's read it to the people. Groups and accounts created to stir up political debate, including in the U.S., the Middle East, Russia, and the U.K. Pretty broad. I guess you're okay if you're in South Africa. but you're probably not. I know that we've done some stories about there that the mainstream media has objected to, but let's continue. But the bulk of the inauthentic activity we see on Facebook is spam that's typically motivated by money. Money, not politics. And the people behind it are adapting their behavior as enforcement improves. Now, Dan, one of the things I discussed really briefly with you before this is you in no way have monetized that page. You don't take out sponsored ads. There is no AdSense. So this is a fraudulent statement. You are not a Russian bot. You are a journalist and one with integrity. And that's what's really, it's not like you're sitting there talking about people being able to transform into parallel universes. You're not selling people snake oil or obscene ideas. You're doing real journalism, brother.
Yeah, well, one thing that's important to note here is a few years ago, my Facebook page really exploded. In less than 10 months, I went from 30,000 people to 390,000 people. And then a few years ago, I was essentially shadow banned. They eliminated about 20,000, and then they capped me at 350,000 followers. And I've been there for the last few years. But then I noticed I started to see these new Facebook ads to promote your page, to boost your post. So I think what they did here is that they gave me a taste of what they can do marketing-wise. The page exploded, it got big, and then they capped me, and then they said, hey, if you liked that, you want to get those kind of views again, you're going to have to pay up. So I obviously refused to. I wasn't going to give them a single cent. My stuff just didn't show up on anybody's feeds anymore. I was shadow banned, and now they've gone to the full-out extent of just completely eliminating the page from the internet altogether.
Well, Dan, we definitely know what that feels like, since the shadow banning is not only happening on Facebook, but it's also happening on Twitter and, of course, even YouTube, even the platform that you're watching on right now. And we saw this with Facebook. We saw very underhanded activities by them even years ago, with them, again, as you mentioned, censoring a lot of the content so it never shows up on people's feeds. Our Facebook page also hasn't been growing at all, and we have organically grew with no advertising. We don't spend money giving it to marketing companies. We're definitely not going to spend money giving it to Zuckerberg. And it's just people liking the information, sharing it. Facebook's like, people really resonate with this. People like this. People find truth in this. Now it's time to cut it all off. And that's what they just did moments ago with this huge move, with 800 plus accounts just being absolutely terminated in this kind of Orwellian double talk of politics for profit. What do you think the mainstream media does? The mainstream media pins so many race, social, religious issues in order to divide and conquer us. They're making top bottom dollar here, shilling for top interests. But here, we monetize our work. We ask for donations, yes, but that's somehow is against the rules. Look what the mainstream media is doing. It's absolutely insane. Even Lee Camp tweeted this out just a couple weeks ago. He was documenting his reach. And up until just about a year ago, some of the posts would go viral because people would like them and share them. And then he just talked about the flatline that happened during a specific time. And we checked our analytics, and the same thing happened, a flatline. They're the ones determining what ideas get out there. They are the social controllers now of what is acceptable to talk about, what is acceptable to know. They are pretty much big daddy, big brother government, acting on behest of special interests. And one of those special interests is, of course, Saudi Arabia. No one likes to talk about Saudi Arabia because everyone is afraid to talk about Saudi Arabia. They have a lot of control. They have a lot of influence on social media, especially on Twitter. And we saw, even before this major purge that hit very close to home, hit a lot of people I know, hit you. You've been doing incredible work. This is definitely unjustified what happens to you. But just 2 weeks ago, Facebook purged a whole bunch of pages that were critical of Saudi Arabia, just as Saudi Arabia is about to behead an activist. A woman who was peacefully protesting is about to be beheaded in Saudi Arabia, and the people talking about it, their pages are completely deleted. That's what I think this is all behind. The special interest, the government, Saudi Arabia. As we know, the Atlantic Council, the Israeli government, the U.S. government also heavily monitor and influence what people see and cannot see. That's been admitted. That, to me, is what's really happening here. Do you see it this way, Jason or Dan, or do you see it a different way?
Yeah, I see this as being politically motivated. Like, look, let's face it, there is a midterm election coming up in the United States right around the corner. A lot of these pages that have been purged are talking specifically about politics and politics in the States. And we even have a federal election around the corner here in Canada. So, this is clearly politically motivated, and they have essentially appointed themselves as the gatekeepers of political thought and opinion moving forward. And I think this is just the beginning. We're not only going to see this continue with other pages, but I think we're going to see this move into other areas which we can't even fathom right now. Like maybe in a year from now, we won't be able to email links anymore, or maybe we'll get our Gmail account shut down. I mean, this is getting out of hand. So it's absolutely crucial to stop these incremental pushes as they incrementally encroach upon us. So, we need to really take a stand against this now before it's too late and we're just completely eradicated from the internet.
Well, Jason, what do you think about this? And this is actually the exact topic we were talking about yesterday with Max Egan. And Max Egan envisioned a future that is absolutely terrifying, but it's right on our doorsteps. And we need to realize this before we fall into the traps that they laid out for us. Sorry, Jason, continue on with what you think is behind all of this.
Well, I mean, I just want to point out who they targeted. They allowed certain alternative media people who do business with them, people who peddle nonsense. Look right here, Gaia. I know that you guys probably can't escape the Gaia stuff in your feeds, right? All sponsored, they're paying for it. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't listen to George Norrie or some of the other people that they promote, but they're not going to have any problems, okay? UFO people aren't going to have any problems. Who's going to have problems? Actual journalists talking about real issues, things like Syria, things like Yemen. All those police brutalities, those cop watch pages, they got taken down. Now, they want to talk about spammers and scammers and all this other stuff. Let's read this section. But a lot of the spam we are seeing today is different. The people behind it create networks of pages using fake accounts and multiple accounts with the same name. They post clickbait posts on these pages to drive people to websites that are entirely separate from Facebook. That is not what you've ever done, Dan. That is not what Copwatch does. That is not what the anti-media does. So I'm going to tell you right now, they thought they were going to get away with it with Alex Jones, guys. I promise you, this is the first step in them cutting their own throats and Facebook becoming a dinosaur like MySpace. Because the first person that's able to put up an actual free forum with decent guidelines. For instance, a social network that's not promoting child pornography or anything like that. You do have to have those type of censors in place to have a successful network. The first people that are able to do that are going to take over, man. And they can try to censor us on YouTube, on this platform you're watching right now, on Facebook. But the bottom line is, blockchain technology is only getting bigger, and if you want your competitors to come for you faster and you want investors to get behind them, keep censoring speech. Keep doing it. Come on, Zuckerberg. Keep going, brother. I'm sorry. I'm fired up.
You're more optimistic than I am, especially with Amazon working on technology that's going to break blockchain encryption that we also need to be aware of. That's a whole nother issue that we should get into, and who to support, who not to support, what other alternatives. I want to talk to you really quickly about solutions, Dan. But before we do that, let's just go over some of the pages that were taken down today. I mean, we have Free Thought Project that had 3.1 million followers. The Anti-Media, 2.1 million followers. Police to Police, 1.9 million. Cop Block, Filming Cops, Choice and Truth, Punk Rock Libertarians, End the War on Drugs. Mass Report got taken down. No Victim, No Crime got taken down. I'm just trying to get us a whole list here, and the list just keeps going on, and it's not even close to the 800 that they're reporting that they took down. A page called Hemp got taken down. Rachel Blevins' page got taken down. She was working on that as well. So many different pages got taken down today, and it definitely looks And now obviously some of them had relationships where they would share posts within each other. I think one of the reasons why we're kind of in the clear here is because we never had any of those. We kind of neglected Facebook because we kind of saw the bigger problem happening with them and our reach being screwed by them. So we really haven't invested in sharing any articles or working with other groups. Our page is still somehow up there, but this has a huge effect, Dan, and people need to realize here when they take your voice down, when they get rid of 350,000 people that followed you, this has a huge effect on you. This is a huge effect on your business, on your livelihood. Can you go into just some of the bigger aspects here that people don't really understand when it comes to being alternative media, being independent media, and trying to survive in this tough landscape?
I think, like Jason said, this could potentially backfire on them when people realize exactly what's happening. And it's that whole cliche saying, you know, first they came for this one, but I didn't say anything, and then eventually they came for me. Well, I think people are starting to realize that, and they're starting to see it, and hopefully this creates a ripple effect, a triggering moment here, where people realize, okay, now it's time to really start looking into these alternative platforms like we've been discussing, these blockchain tech alternative platforms that it's a little more difficult to censor people on. Like things like Steemit.com is a good example, or DTube, a video sharing platform built off the Steemit blockchain. Once it's on the blockchain, essentially it's there for good. Now there's still room for censorship if whales can, you know, get in there and vote people down and whatnot, but it's much, much, much more secure and free, independent and decentralized is the key. So what we need to do moving forward, Luke, I think we got to look to these decentralized platforms, BitChute.com, Minds.com, Steemit.com, and not sink to the level of Facebook and try to have them eradicated from the internet. No, let's let the free market speak. Let's just migrate away from there and eventually end up on these other platforms, and hopefully we can promote those and make those the big places where people come to get their information.
I'm seeing a lot of talk on social media with other independent journalists being like, I told you so. I told you so. And I think me, you, Dan, Jason as well, Josh Sigerson, Jeff Berwick, all of us, every single one in the independent media landscape, right after they took down Alex Jones, all of us were like, they're coming for us next. It's only a matter of time. It's not just a right-wing thing. It's going to be anyone going against the status quo, and that's exactly what we are seeing today. Now, there's a number of solutions. There's a number of things to move away from. As soon as I heard this news, I emailed you. I was like, dude, you got to have an email list. It's something that I've been mentioning once in a blue moon on this YouTube channel for years now, just having as a backup, because even in 2008, we were on this YouTube channel 10 years ago telling you, soon they're going to censor the internet and our voices will no longer be prevalent here because we are going against the social controllers who, of course, now have an invested interest in controlling the discourse, knowledge, and information. Total information. They want all of it. And it looks like they're now getting away with it, but it's up to us. It's up to you to move away from this. Dan, were you able to set up an email list? I mean, I know we got one. We set one up on our website. I posted the link in the description of the last video that we just did about Kanye West. That's more important than ever, guys. You guys don't understand. This is a big aspect. When you put years of hard work, just like Dan did, building up a page, 350,000 people follow you, and then Facebook just said, nope, those people aren't yours. They're our people. We're taking them away from you. The only way you could have one-on-one communication really right now is through email lists. That's the best way to talk to everyone, and that's why we blasted out what happened to you, Dan. Dan, do you have a link to an email list? Have you set that up yet?
Thankfully, I had the foresight to do that, knowing what was coming. I did set up through MailChimp a newsletter, and people can sign up to that. If you go to my homepage on pressfortruth.ca, just off to the right where the members area is, you'll see an area where you can enter your email address to subscribe to our newsletter. Now, I've never really sent out newsletters. I've had this thing for maybe 4 or 5 years. I've used it a couple of times over the past 4 or 5 years, but now I'm so glad that I have it. And as you said, Luke, this is going to be a one-on-one, a way for me to connect directly with the viewers should they decide to take this to the next level and, Alex Jones me, as it were. So, yes. Please go to pressfortruth.ca, sign up to our newsletter. You're not going to be getting spammed with anything. You're not even going to be getting anything really, unless we get taken down someday. Then I'll know how to reach you. We'll know how to notify you, and we'll let you know where we've migrated to.
Yeah, I've been talking to Jason. I'm like, Jason, it's coming. Hurry up. We got to do the email list. We got to do a newsletter. We got to do this really quick. That's how we're going to change our whole operation here at We Are Change. We're not just going to be uploading to YouTube and making that our main process now. We're going to do everything we can to put all of our initiative, all of our work into this newsletter, and even a second newsletter where we're going to share more stuff with you one-on-one. And that's really the best way that I could see. I mean, there's other alternatives. There's, things like Steemit that you mentioned, which has been okay. I've been kind of disappointed with DLive. They were a platform that let you upload their videos, and then they just completely shut down and erased everyone's videos. There's still DTube, which is okay, and a lot of people use. There's some, errors in that. There's also bit.tube, which is interesting. There's also BitChute. There's also Minds. Jason, which alternative platforms, what kind of solution do you see in all of this?
Well, I mean, first of all, we can't just rely on a platform. We're going to have to start going back to the days of things like Notella, Nutella, Morpheus, Kazaa, file share networks, if necessary. And I see some of that on Discord. That's making a name for itself. Maybe that's the place. I know that it's got a little bit of a stigma. But again, the first person that's able to make a Reddit style without any kind of social or political censorship network that's kind of like a Facebook where you can post your stuff and live, they're going to be very successful. And you know who's not going to be successful? People that go after independent journalists. And I think that this recent story, Luke, in Saudi Arabia, it's not going away. For instance, we can't get there. The First Lady has now been forced to comment on it. It's all over the media, and Richard Branson has just suspended talks with Saudi Arabians, huge businessman. This is a big deal, over the missing journalist. So in this country, there still are people that realize it is extremely dangerous to censor journalism. And in some respect, so does the general populace when they see it overseas. When it's not so close to home, where it doesn't hit here, then they can accept it. But it's very hard for them to go to what is their favorite websites. The two biggest websites on the planet right now, guys, are Facebook and YouTube. First of all, cable is dead to those 25 and under. Okay, so now everybody's jockeying for that YouTube Netflix audience, and YouTube has gained ground on Netflix like never before. But you know what? Netflix censors less. They're the ones putting out documentaries like The Keepers that are questioning the sexual abuse of children by the church months and months and months and months before this Pennsylvania scandal hit, and the following scandals keep coming out and out and out. So there are people out there are networks out there that are willing to explore these topics. And the bottom line is we got to step up our game. We can't just sit here and bitch and moan and complain. And we are, we've sent out 2 emails already this week. We're getting ready to send out a third. It's something, as email-wise, we're probably going to end up sending out 2 to 3 times a week so people can get a direct access not only to our videos, but some of the articles that we think are important. And, Luke, you mentioned one of the things that may have saved us was that we weren't in these networks of sharing material, but also the bottom line is we've also shifted to putting out mainstream articles, the agenda mouthpieces. Now, whether we agree with those, we may say something in the comment line, but the bottom line is we're using mainstream sources more than ever at We Are Change because we saw this coming. They've accused us and Luke Rudowski of being Russian agents, folks. We like to joke about on these live streams that he's Putin's kid, but the bottom line is that the mainstream media would love to run with that narrative that Luke Rudowski is the illegitimate son of Vladimir the Impaler, the Russian man that stole the election, and he's here on a mission from Poot to steal it again. They would love that narrative. I'm just saying, guys.
Well, there's definitely a resemblance, to say the least. And I would say what we're seeing here is, social controllers and elites used to have control of the mainstream media. The internet came, and people like me, people like you, Dan, and other people, and you, Jason, have made a name of doing really incredible work. that became extremely popular, and all the people who we were questioning, mainly the elite, started looking at this being like, no, we got to change this. And now social media is becoming the new mainstream media, with the way that they are utterly just fully controlled. That's the way I see it. Dan, what do you think about that, and what links could people follow you to make sure that they get their work if they were especially following you on Facebook and want to find you directly?
Well, I suppose this somewhat vindicates us. It proves that we are over the target. As you said, if they're interested in silencing us, that's for a very good reason. So they're trying to take my voice off the internet. They're starting with Facebook. So if people want to, continue to hear what I have to say, make sure you follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/@pressfortruth, or my other personal Dan Dix PFT Twitter account. And then, of course, you can get us on YouTube for now, God willing, as long as we'll be on there at Press for Truth. And then the website's pressfortruth.ca, where I strongly encourage people at this time to sign up to the newsletter. We really need everybody's backing and support at this time. Again, first they came for this one. Now they're coming for the journalists, guys. If you don't stand up for us now, they're going to come for you next.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. We definitely should have been a lot more intelligence of the hindsight of what was coming, to say the least. But also at the same time, Dan, if you're not on Facebook, if you're not on Google, if you're not on Twitter, it's almost impossible to have a voice now. This also needs to be said. If you're not on these major big platforms, how else could you reach the masses? And this is kind of the trick and pony show that they laid out in front of us. And I know you plugged a lot of the different stuff, the YouTubes, Twitters, all of that stuff, by the way, could be gone at any moment. Are you on either Gab or BitChute or BitTube or Steemit? Do you have any of those links that you could share with us?
Yeah, steemit.com/@pressfortruth. From there, you can find my DTube, and then minds.com/pressfortruth, and also bitchute.com/pressfortruth. I'm on all of these ones. I have yet to get on Gab and the other one you mentioned. What was it?
There's bit.tube.
Bit.tube, yeah, bit.tube. I'm going to check that out. But all the other ones are basically Press for Truth. So if you just go to those, search Press for Truth, you'll find it. I have the links to all of those in every video of mine. So just go to any video and check the description, and you'll find the links to all of those sites.
Dan, I know you got to go. We really appreciate your time. Jason, we're going to continue this broadcast with just me and Jason. Jason, do you want to ask Dan anything else before he leaves?
I just want to point out that, we talked about BitChute there at the very end, and one of the things I've been preaching about on this broadcast is the fact that other platforms are arising. Well, BitChute now has an advertisement deal. That is huge. Any of these video platforms that are coming up that are now getting advertising, sharing that with their content creators, and We Are Change is lucky enough to be part of that beta program. These are the ones we have to get behind. BitChute is the major one. I'm not trying to marginalize any of the other platforms, but if you're going to go see Dan Dix, I got to tell you the BitChute platform is where to move to. InfoWars is starting to have a presence there. They brought a lot of people over. Guys like Sticks and Hammer, whether you love him or hate him, he's got an audience there. We are building audiences outside of this, and Dan, God bless you, move forward, and I know you're just going to keep doing incredible work no matter what, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, guys, and for getting the word out about what's going on. Take care. Keep up the great work.
No worries. Keep up the great work. Jason, we're going to continue the conversation going along with everything that's happening here. I actually had a very interesting conversation with one of the mainstream media journalists that actually covered this story, and it absolutely looked like he just took the press release that was written by Facebook and just literally rewrote it. He was like, yeah, politics for money, spam. These are all spam pages. These are all pages abusing it. You just heard the interview with Dan Dix. He wasn't doing that. He wasn't doing that at all. And I'm talking to him even right before this broadcast on Twitter, being like, did you do any homework for this? I'm not going to bring out his name. And didn't really get a response, but he's like, okay, send me this information, send me this, or get me in contact with him, So I'm doing that also behind the scenes. And I think we'll see what happens. We'll see if the story is retracted or rechanged. I'm going to follow it closely here. If this person actually gets to communicate with a lot of the people who were affected by this, because again, what Facebook released is completely different from the actual reality of it, Jason.
Yeah, it's absolutely beyond the reality of it. When you look at this, you're thinking, oh, it's the guy trying to get me to buy Ray-Ban sunglasses and all sorts of other ridiculous posts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, imagine if you were an average person not knowing what's going on and just reading the mainstream tabloids, just reading the mainstream media. What would you think if you heard, "Oh, we just got rid of some spam pages or some politics for play pages"? What would you think?
And not only that, they're playing this up on the local media. If you go and do a Google News search right now, the majority of the ones that are saying spam accounts are, the local Fox channels, the local NBCs, the local CBS. And what does that tell you? That tells you that it's trying to hit Ma and Pa America, middle America. It's trying to, get the people in Illinois and Michigan and Kentucky and Arizona to just kind of be breezing through their daily news, seeing what's going over on Main Street. Facebook's taking it. Good, I hate spam. Goddamn those spam posts. I can't stand those spam posts. And all of this is balling quicker and quicker and quicker. This intertwines with Article 13 in the EU just as much as everything, with them trying to literally make memes illegal, encroaching on free speech on a level never seen before. I mean, it's pretty accepted now that small bits of pop culture, whether they be part of movies, television, or sports, are acceptably shared, especially when they have, some kind of new spin on it, some kind of speech. I mean, they're all over the place, and they're going to try to take that away from us. That's thought control. That's mind control. That's censorship. That's book burning, Luke.
Yeah, this is all about control. This is what people need to realize. This isn't about spam. This isn't about politics for money. This is all about controlling the discourse, the conversation, the information. Knowledge is power. They want to take that power away from us. And this is a very fierce warfare that we're fighting here. It all started with the government collecting our data and our information with the bulk data NSA collection program. It just started with that. And it only is building up and crescendoing to a bigger thing. First, they want to know everything that you're doing. And that's what they did. Now, even if you go to places like New Zealand, you could go through a digital strip search where they tell you to unlock your devices and they get to scan and look through every little aspect of your entire life. Like they don't have access to it digitally anyway. Now they're also going to saying like, oh, this information, no. We know better what's right. We know what you should hear and not hear. We know what you should learn about. We know the information that you should be privy to. And we're going to control those parameters as tightly as we can. And that's exactly what they're doing. And today was astonishing. 800 plus pages, a lot of them that we have very close relationships with, just bam, gone. All of their work, all of their followers, their blood, their sweat, their tears, their livelihoods, totally taken away from them. From a platform that promised to be open, promised to be free, promised to have open communications and dialogues with everyone's, and just a whole bunch of people were screwed over. And we've been getting screwed over on social media forever. We were one of the first few channels to get demonetized. And it's luckily because of you and your supporters and you, the viewership, that we're still able to be here. We're still struggling. We're not we don't have a full gas tank, to say the least. We're running on empty, but we're still going to continue to do this as much as we can, because this is more important than just us. The information that they're trying to hide from you affects so many people. This is about right and wrong. This is not about spam. This is about controlling you, and people need to realize that. We got some new members and some super chats that I think we should address. Jason, in the comment section, do you want to get some of those, unless you have something to respond to?
No, let's do it. Bay Awake over here is a new member. Thanks, Bay. We appreciate it. Nice little name.
I like the name.
Yeah.
I like the name.
And Ian Hall, thank you for the super chat. Truth wins, Luke. Though you are going a bit Alex Jones on us, just don't report on gay frogs. Well, let me tell you something, sir. If the gay frogs need reporting on, We Are Change isn't afraid.
Well, if you look at Alex Jones, he says a lot of ridiculous things. And one of the things that they point out is the gay frog comment. And he was actually right on that. If you look at the chemicals and the pharmaceuticals that people are taking that are going into our water systems, they are having a profound effect on our ecosystem and our environment, where frogs are turning homosexual. That's the truth. That's one of the crazy, ridiculous things he said that actually had actual science behind it. And there's even scientific papers proving this. I don't want to be Alex Jones. He is a very sensational person. He is a very right-wing person. He is a person that supports Donald Trump. We have many disagreements. I don't think we're going Alex Jones here. I don't think we're going far enough, to be honest with you, because what happened today is 800 pages that were very against the establishment were totally deleted. Were totally purged. Information that was very important for the safety, the security, the knowledge, the empowerment of people was just completely taken away. With Facebook outright lying about why they did it, the mainstream media is continuing to just regurgitate their press releases, and no one is getting this information because a lot of these pages are suppressed, censored, or just completely deleted. This is supposed to be a public discourse place. This is supposed to be a public avenue where we're supposed to communicate and talk to each other and share ideas and grow and develop as humanity. And these people are like, no. That's not in our interest. Our interest is to divide and conquer you. Our interest is to spread fear. It's to spread things that, of course, has many incentives. One of them being basically to make money off of you. Because if you're in a low vibrational state where you're fearful, or you're trying to be somebody that you're not, or you're looking up to all these idiotic idols like Jake Paul and whoever the crap they have out there now, you're going to be more easily sold crap that you don't need. That's purposely probably made from China with slave labor. Then again, that's another issue. Don't talk about that one. There's so many issues, and we made the decision here at We Are Change. We're going to talk about the issues no matter what consequences are going to come our way. That's why we talk about Saudi Arabia, even though Saudi Arabia has a huge influence on a lot of money in social media, even though they're helping dictate what people see and don't see. That's why we criticize the U.S. foreign policy, Israel's foreign policy. We criticize governments all around the world. If we're going to stop because one of them is controlling what we see on social media and have that fear of them stopping us, no, I don't want to live that life. I don't want to live a life where I have to bite my tongue and not be the freest, most expressive, honest version of myself. And when there's something that needs to be reported on, no matter the consequences, we're going to report on it. And a big part of that is you participating with it, voting with your clicks, voting with your views, voting with your shares, voting with your attention, being on our Patreon, buying our t-shirts, being on our email list. And I would say the number one thing that you could do right now is be on that email list. It's more important than ever. I could actually physically download all the emails and take them with me. If I get taken down even by a major email hosting company, which that has even happened before, I still have all my emails. I can move them to another email mailing service. I still have control of that. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube does not let you see, does not let you keep the audience that you have worked hard for and that you have built. It is theirs. It is not yours. The platform is free, but that is because you are the product. And that's a big statement that a lot of people need to realize. That's my 2 cents on it. Jason, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I want to talk about how this was like a hit in broad daylight. They did this in the middle of the day with no warning. You know, they didn't do it by night like everybody went, oh, the entire East Coast wakes up, and then all of a sudden this drops. Hey, my Facebook. No, they did it like 2, 3 in the afternoon. It was like a New Jack style hit.
Yeah, they did it on Thursday when most people are online. Most people are online Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you look at analytics and the numbers, that's when they're on. Sorry, Jason.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, we've been looking into this more than ever when it's time to send an email. And like you said, Tuesday to Thursday, early afternoon, 10 to 11 a.m., that would be West Coast time. That's right around when they did this. And they dropped the hammer, and they were ready to go with their little bullshiz statement. And not only that, but the mainstream media articles, the ones that we're seeing again and again and again and again and again, they were ready to go too. This is more scripted media nonsense.
And they're doing this with impunity, Jason. And you have to ask yourself, if you're a major media organization that has a partnership with, say, Facebook, which they do, as we know, that's why we're seeing Anderson Cooper more, not only on Facebook, but also on YouTube. You look at any news topic that's breaking, you put it in the search word, whether it's Kavanaugh, whether it's Kanye West, what shows up in the recommended? MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, all the old controlled mainstream media outlets are thrown and shoved your way because no one wants to watch them. They have to force it down your throat. And if you're in one of these big organizations, are you really going to hold Facebook accountable for doing this? Are you going to really question them? Are you going to really push them for the truth and contradict some of their lies? Or do you want to keep a good relationship with them so they put you above MSNBC, so they put you in a higher ranking? So the people need to understand here, the power that these social tech monopolies hold is extremely vast. They could destroy livelihoods, or they could make livelihoods. They can make people richer than ever before, or they can make them poorer than ever before, just with their algorithms, which of course they manipulate. It's been proven. They manipulate the algorithms, especially on Twitter, especially on YouTube, so it benefits them most. So they get more profit out of it. But also, it's not just all about profit. Profit is a big aspect of this because, again, someone like Fox News who sees this, they have a choice: regurgitate the press release, not question it, or hold their feet to the fire and then get deranked by Facebook. Less people see their stuff, less money that they get. And the same way YouTube. You look at all the changes that they're making. They made specific changes where you don't even see the people you're subscribed to or even notified to. They specifically want to have their programming so you stay on the program as long as possible. And that's why all the recommended videos are not even your videos anymore. They're videos that you think you want to watch. They're pretty much acting like they're your mother, they're your father, saying, no, you're going to watch this, you're going to consume this, you're going to eat this. We're telling you what is reality in today's day and age. And that is something, and that is a platform that is ultimately very sinister. And no matter what goals you think you have, no matter what good you're serving, just having that power alone and abusing it is one of the worst tyrannical evils out there, because you're controlling the free flow of information to your own personal benefit. They justify it to themselves. I know they do. They don't see themselves as bad people. They see themselves as good people. But their justifications, even in its plain sight, are just outright straight wrong. That's how I see it. We got another super chat. We also got some comments by some of our subscribers and members here. We got Argyle, who says, everyone delete your Facebook immediately. Time to stop being their product. Argyle, that's definitely a good point. I definitely recommend one of the things is stop being their product. Stop. Again, they're using you. They're selling your information. The program, the services are free because they make money off of you in other ways that you cannot see. They sell your information. If your information is not sold, it's hacked. If it's not hacked, it's given to the government, and they're able to see every little aspect about your life. We got a bunch of super chats. Jason, do you want to go over some of them?
Yeah, you got it. The Morgan Report. Seems like somebody you know over from Anarchapulco. He says, thanks, Luke and company, for all you've done and continue to do. Hope to see you at Anarchapulco again. And then Happy Zorro says it's time for a new platform. Kim.com is cooking something up. And, of course, Kim.com is of the mega upload fame. And I sure hope he does. I hope he can have lightning strike twice. It's tough out there in the tech business, especially to have lightning strike twice, especially when the establishment came, raided your home in New Zealand, put you in a safe room where you literally had a loaded gun in your hand when they came to get you, and then ended up eviscerating your wealth and taking your property. Go ahead.
Explain what happened in Kim.com to the viewers who never heard of them, because the story and even the footage of.
And guys, I'm very sorry. I don't know if Luke can hear me, but his audio just tailed out. And we were having this issue before. We don't know what it was. That's what was taking so long. Literally mid-broadcast. Yeah, we're going to have to cut it. And guys, I did see that there's a new update for my program, XSplit. We love you very much. We're going to get these technical issues done by the Sunday program. Hopefully, we're going to still be on YouTube and Facebook by then. We don't know. We don't know. Who knows? But until then, folks, hey, get out there, be the change you want to see in the world, and remember, get at that email list. That's how we're going to keep in touch and still produce content for you guys no matter what. Thank you all.